Good morning, students. We are continuing our discussion on chapter 11, Akbar the Great. Today we will discuss about the administrative system of Akbar, what kind of administration he introduced and what kind of system he followed. We will focus on that. First of all, let us discuss the basic features of his administration. One of the most significant contribution of Akbar's reign was the establishment of efficient administrative system. I already said that a huge territory he captured and a well established, well functioning administrative system he introduced. Akbar gave the Mughal India one official language, Persian language. It was a uniform administrative system and coinage, and the common system of weightage and measures were introduced by Akbar. Akbar's administrative system can be grouped under two heads: central administration and provincial administration. First of all, we will focus on the central administration, then we will focus on the provincial administration. So first of all, central administration. In the central administration, it was the tradition of Persian rulers which was followed by Akbar. He was himself, Akbar himself was a great administrator. He improvised many administrative policies which were followed in India previously, but he compiled all those great measures into one, and a centralized, well controlled administrative system he introduced. He had main officers like under him who worked. It was Wazir or Diwan who was the head of the revenue department, or we can say Wazir was the prime minister. Then Mir Bakshi, military and the head of the mansabs. Then we can say about Qazi, the chief judge, and then chief Sadar, supervisor of royal household. So these were the main posts under the Emperor Akbar, and he introduced many other improvisations in the central administrative system. Let us discuss this in details. So in central administration, at the top I already said the Mughal emperor was there, who was the supreme commander of army and the final court of justice. Under him Wazir or the Diwan was there. He was the head of the revenue and finance department, or else we can say he was the prime minister. Mir Bakshi, we already discussed that, head of the military department and head of the mansabs. Another post was there, Mir Saman, who supervised the purchase of all kinds of articles. That means whatever is purchased, all should be noted down by Mir Saman. And then Chief Qazi, just now we have discussed about that, head of the judiciary department. Then Chief Sadar, we also discussed about that, was the supervisor of the royal household. The emperor would meet his subjects to hear their pleas and the grievances in the Diwani Am or the public audience hall. If you visit the Red Fort in Delhi, you will find these halls named as Diwani Am, which was the hall to meet the common people. Another was to meet his ministers. Another hall is there in Red Fort. It is called Diwan-e-Khas, or the private audience hall. So this was the main basic structure of Akbar's central administration, which was a proper administrative system, and he functioned with all these responsible ministers and posts to run his empire with a proper smoothness. So students, let us continue with the provincial administration of Akbar. Just now we have already discussed about that. Akbar's administrative system was divided into two parts. One was called central administration and one was called provincial administration. Central administration means how he looked after the capital and the main departments were there at the capital, how he looked after it, we have discussed about that. Which officers worked under him, we have already discussed about that. Now the provincial administration. Now here you can find that Akbar followed a policy of provincial administration which was followed by Sher Shah. Like, he divided his whole empire into 15 subas. The subas were divided into sarkars, the sarkars were divided into parganas, and the parganas were divided into villages. And subas were controlled by subadars and diwans. Subadars were the law and administrative head, and the diwans were the record keeper. They kept all the record about the collection of revenues and the record of the lands in a suba. Now Akbar introduced another system on his own which was called Mansabdari system. It was a system where Akbar gave a particular officer two responsibilities together with proper rank or proper post. What was that? An administrative officer had to maintain certain number of soldiers along with horses, and Mansabdari system was just like that. A particular officer had two ranks: one, his administrative post, and second, his rank, that how many soldiers he would look after and control, and these soldiers must be provided to the king or emperor during the time of war. So what was that Mansabdari system? Mansabdari system, which was introduced by Akbar, it had two kind of responsibilities in one name. A Mansabdar had two kind of ranks, or any officer who worked under Akbar, they had two kind of ranks. One was his administrative rank, or in which post he belongs, or how much salary that particular officer would get. Another rank was there which showed how many soldiers would be controlled by that particular officer, and these soldiers must be provided to the king or the emperor during the time of war. So Mansabdar meant two ranks together, one the administrative post and another was the number of soldiers a particular officer had to look after. Let us see Mansabdari system. The Mansab is an Arabic word meaning rank or position or status. Thus, Mansabdari was a system in which the rank of a government official was determined. I already explained that. Every civil and military official was given a Mansab and was called a Mansabdar. There were two methods of making payment to the nobles or this officer. One was the giving them land or jagir, and one was that paying them in cash. If those Mansabdars instead of salary got jagir or land, those Mansabdars were called as Jagirdar. The Mansabdari system, thus known as Jagirdari system also. So let us focus about the provincial administration of Akbar in details. Now already I said that Akbar divided the entire Mughal empire into 15 provinces called subas. The subas were divided into sarkars, the sarkars were divided into parganas, and the parganas were divided into villages. The subadar was there and the diwan was there to look after the subas. Subadars are the governor. Already I said they are the law and administrative head of subas. They maintain law and order in the subas. And diwans, they were responsible for keeping records of the land revenue collection, or the detail of the land, that productivity of the land, all were kept in record by Diwan. Now villages were governed by village panchayat, we have already seen. Now again in detail let us discuss about the Mansabdari system. I already said that the Mansabdari system was one one of the most unique system which was introduced by Akbar. Mansab means place or position or rank. It was Arabic word. A rank means a system where for an Mughal officer both the ranks were shown. One was civil rank or his position, how much salary that official will get, what is his position in the court, and another rank, military rank, which showed that how many soldiers that official will maintain. So these are the two ranks together called Mansab. Now in features, the lowest Mansabdars had to maintain 10 horsemen. The highest Mansabdars were reserved for the royal households. That means if you want to get highest salary, if you want to get highest money, or if you want to have highest number of soldiers under you, you must be from Mughal royal household. And the highest number of horses which were maintained by top Mansabdars who got top salaries, they had to maintain 7,000 horsemen. You can understand the rank. The system fixed the payment of a Mansabdar during Akbar's reign. All Mansabdars were paid in cash or in form of Jagir. I already said Jagir means land. The Mansabdars who got land instead of cash, they were called Jagirdar because they got land or Jagir. Those particular areas which were under their control, they had to look after those areas also, look after the people also. The Mansabdars had proper responsibilities for that particular area from where they were collecting taxes and keeping their own profit. It required the holders to maintain specific number of sawar or the contingent. That means sawar or contingent means number of soldiers. That if you have the rank of 7,000 horsemen, you have to carry or look after those 7,000 horsemen. The government will pay proper salary for that. Government will provide proper money for that. But what your rank has been promised to control or to maintain a number of soldiers, you have to maintain that. It was the Mansabdari system. The Mansabdari system was not hereditary. That means like other systems in Akbar's administration, it was not hereditary also, because if you are prominent, if you have the capability, then only you will get this post, administrative and the military post. Otherwise you would not get this post because of heredity. That means they had to prove themselves. Even for the royal households also, they had to prove themselves. All the prince or all the royal members didn't get the highest ranks, but the highest ranks were reserved for the royal blood, royal household or royal family members, but they had to prove themselves among them. And that was the most unique system which was introduced by Akbar. It was Mansabdari system.